Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card, we're looking at messages of deep revelation and healing, and may not always be healing, but healing and growth that's coming to you from your ancestral line. But I'm talking about two different types of ancestral line quite deliberately in this. The first is what we typically think of, the bloodline that we've been born into, the ancestral line, what you might do if you go to one of those ancestor research sites and find out what your sort of lineage is on both sides of your family and so forth. So we'll be looking at that because you'll have been born into that family for a reason, and that bloodline then connects you to others and the history of that bloodline. So we'll be getting the messages in a sense from your ancestors from your bloodline. But because I believe in reincarnation and I believe in soul families, I believe we also come from what I would call a soul family lineage or soul family ancestral line. And that is more in the liminal space. So I'm wanting to look at what your soul family ancestral line wants to say to you as well. So, and it'll be interesting to see, part of the design of this is to get a message from each, and I'll be using two different tarot decks for that. One that I think very much evokes the human bloodline energy of your current incarnation. And the second one, earth-based, but kind of in the liminal space, sort of more I think that would touch upon the soul family. So you'll see that as the reading goes through. And so part of the structure of it will be looking at what each line is telling you and then how that synthesizes. So hopefully this will be, as I say, a deep revelation and helpful. Might need to say trigger warning, I don't really know. I do the introductions before I start filming, so I never know what the readings are going to have. But because of the nature of this, there could sometimes be challenging things. But the intention of this is for your highest good and for your healing and for your empowerment. So I'm sure that overall the messages will be in that vein. To help with the choice, I have in each at the beginning, we're going to use 3 cards from the Beloved Dead deck, which I think gives a sense of ancestral, past connections, all of that kind of energy. And the first card, which I shuffled and asked for Spirit to show me for the pile choice, is the synthesis of the message that each of those 2 lines that I was talking about bringing you. Then there will be a couple of other cards, one for the bloodline and one for the soul family. And we'll have a look at the theme of what they all want to talk about. And then we'll go into that with tarot and other oracle cards. So for pile number 1, we have appearance. For pile number 2, we have compass. And for pile number 3, we have limelight. Of course, go to more than one reading if you feel drawn to more than one reading. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps as always are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So you came to the reading with appearance, which to me gives a kind of synthesized energy that this may either be how you appear to others, or I think more how a situation is appearing to you. And I think it's that, because when I look at here what your bloodline, ancestral line is wanting to talk about, and then what your soul family line is wanting to talk about, I think there is a choice or a connection, particularly through your bloodline and sort of the connections you have there, that may either have disconnected you a bit from your soul family, or which your soul family are wanting to say you've disconnected from, but maybe need to reconnect to. So we will see more when we get to the tarot. But for the bloodline family, it's saying act of love as is. To me, what I'm feeling here is a kind of calm energy of there is something either that has been done for you by your bloodline or your family, or that you have done for your bloodline or family. So you may have been working on healing in that energy already. You may have come to this family and chosen to be in this family. In fact, for some of you, you may have gone into a bloodline family that's very different to your general soul family as an act of love to connect or heal something. So for some of you, that is part of this. But at its core, your bloodline ancestors are talking to you about an act of love that you're doing or is being done for you that is just what it is. But I feel with appearance here and with disconnect, there is a sense like you either aren't aware that that is what is occurring, or aren't aware that you're actually even doing it. Or it may appear that you're doing the opposite. I'm getting for some of you with disconnect that you may in fact be leaving a family connection that you have, leaving a love connection that you have, leaving something like that. And for you, that is the greatest act of love you could do. but it's not seen as that. So your appearance, the appearance of your intent is maybe being misunderstood. Or it could be that you have to disconnect from a sense of the longer lineage of your soul to do something within this bloodline. But again, it may appear as though you're disconnecting from things spiritually. So it might look as though you're just thinking about the day-to-day and you've disconnected from a spiritual energy. But this is not true. That you actually, whatever this is, whether it's you doing something or someone doing something for you that maybe does not appear as though it's an act of love, in fact appears as though you're disconnecting. So the other thing is that somebody else may have disconnected from you or may have done something that you felt was not helpful, but ultimately is meant to be helpful. So you'll know there's a number of different ways this could play out, but there's definitely a sense of a love energy operating here, an act of love, something that you've done or someone else has done, a disconnection from your soul family, or your soul family suggesting to disconnect from the appearances of it and you reconsidering it. So I think this message is looking at something either that you've done or has been done around you that may appear to be one thing, but at its core, it's actually an act of love, and understanding that will kind of heal the sort of line, heal the connections. And as I say, you may have come in to do that. That might be something that you've done and you made a very conscious choice. But if that's the case, you may not appear as though you are like your bloodline family at all. And in fact, your very difference is the thing that is misunderstood, but is actually an act of love. And you've had to disconnect from something that's more part of your soul. So it depends on who's come to the reading, but there's definitely something here about a misunderstanding, either yours or somebody else's, around something that is an act of love, and something that I feel is very different to what your normal soul family energy would be. So it'll be interesting to see what each side wants to talk to you about in terms of the appearance of this. So asking first with the Relative Tarot, what does your bloodline family want to say? What are they talking about in terms of an act of love as is, being as is? You know, that is what this energy is. The Nine of Pentacles reversed. The Five of Wands reversed. The Ten of Wands. The High Priestess reversed. Yeah, there is a disconnection in a way from the spiritual. The Knight of Pentacles reversed. So your bloodline is saying that you may have disconnected from both in a way with the Nine of Pentacles, but with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, there is an act of love there coming through to support you, or you're connecting to your bloodline more. There is something where the sense of connection rather than independence is really key at the moment. Understanding that this is something that you and your bloodline, your ancestors are on board with. You're both heading towards the same thing. There is a love energy there, and it's about reducing the burden of a conflict. So I do think for many of you, whether you've consciously or unconsciously done it, you've come into a bloodline that maybe is very different for you. But you have maybe come in because another from your soul family or someone that you love deeply from a past life is in this connection, and there is like, okay, I need to connect to this family, I need to help with this. This is what it feels like, that you have joined a group when you would more normally be sort of like operating on your own. You've joined the bloodline, and this is requiring of you, in a sense, to carry a burden of resolving some form of conflict. And to do it, you have to disconnect from your soul family to do it. It's a temporary thing. So this life, in terms of the connection, I feel most of the people who come here, you are not necessarily belonging to the normal lineage that you've been born into. You are almost a bit of a stranger in a strange land. But you have come in for a very specific reason. It has disconnected you from your soul family. But your bloodline lineage welcomes you for what you can do, because there's something about what you can do in reducing a burden that the bloodline can't do. And it's like, we know we have you for a short time. And that doesn't mean like your life's short. I mean short in the arc of all your lives. We know that you're with us for a temporary thing. You're here as almost like a healer. But it's also possible, with the amount of conflict that's involved, and a kind of almost group think that might be around your current family. You may not appear to fit in. You may not appear to be helpful. You may be the black sheep, quote unquote, of the family. You might be the truth teller in a family that has many issues. So your ancestral line is going, we know that this is not easy, but equally we are telling you that you only have to be here for a time, and what you will do will be incredibly powerfully healing for others. But it's like, it will be interesting to see what we get from your soul family, because you've actually had to choose to move away from them. So it might be something about the nature of your soul family. Your soul family might be a kind of soul family that does this, that actually moves between sort of lineages. It might be something that you have as a kind of a soul purpose, but it might also be, as I say, that someone else is connected to this. And I'm not saying necessarily romantic love, because this is a family connection. It's like maybe, in a past life you had a connection with someone who's like your mother or your father or a sibling or somebody in your extended family, and you chose to come in. So I would say this person would probably need to be older than you, unless you knew, I guess, that somebody was going to be born a bit after you. But there was a choice. It was an act of love, because you were being protective of that or wanting to heal that for the love of that person. So there's someone in your family line or ancestral line that really matters to you, and that's the reason you're there. But it's you're a bit of a stranger in a strange land. So let's see what your soul lineage, your soul ancestors want to say about this. 5 of Sticks, which is the 5 of Wands reversed. So they know, they agree. This is about some sort of conflict that needs to be dealt with. 4 of Sticks reversed in a family scenario. Okay. 3 of Heels reversed. So Heels is Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles reversed. 2 of Heels reversed, which is 2 of Pentacles reversed. And then the 9 of Sticks, which is the 9 of Wands. Okay. Firstly, your soul family, though you feel this disconnection, are saying that they are still connected to you. They can see and they can feel the energy, and they want to send you the message that you were very close to doing whatever it was that you needed to do. Again, this does not mean you're suddenly going to shuffle off the mortal coil or anything, but you came with a mission and you've done a lot of it. You're very close, but you may be feeling very tired. So I think your soul lineage is wanting to send you extra energy, like a second wind. The 9 of Sticks, the 9 of Wands is like being in a marathon and needing that second wind. So part of the healing and the revelation that your soul family is sending to you is extra energy, because they agree with what they say is true. What is not just a matter of appearances. What is true is there is a conflict. But they're saying, because they're agreeing on that conflict, and we have the appearance here, they're saying that it could look like you are the problem within this dynamic, within this family. This is the thing that's not true. Your kind of bloodline ancestors agree with that as well too. They go, yeah, like the conflict is in the family, but you may be being portrayed as the conflict here because you're very different. You're carrying the burden, but you're going in a different direction. So, but your soul family is saying you made a choice to do this, and it's a slight detour on your broader spiritual path, and you will have the energy to do it. But you aren't necessarily going to be understood. So I'm sorry to say, but I think that you've come in with with very much on the side of the angels in terms of what you're trying to do, and as I say, an act of love. But I'm not sure that it's fully appreciated by the broader family line that you're in. And I would say it is your family, but if this isn't playing out in the family, the other kind of group that this could play out is, say, in a workplace or something like that. So if you're saying, I'm fine in my family, but my workplace, like, it's sort of like, I'm a match and they're the tinder for the flame. It just sort of goes up, if I try and do something, but I'm here to try and do good. You are trying to do good. And it is a very spiritual thing, but it may not appear to others like that. There's something going on in the way that you're helping people. But your spiritual, your soul family wants to say, we'll send you the energy. You're almost there, and this is not your long-term path. So it's not even the long-term thing that you were born to do or anything. It's just something that you agreed to do, and you're going through that energy now, and you're almost at the end. And your, as I say, bloodline go, whatever and however this is playing out, we understand this is temporary as well. So that's good. I think both the ancestral line in spirit and also your soul family both understand very clearly what's going on, but they are also both saying you're not being understood in the temporal world for what you're doing, but you have the energy to do it, and you don't have to get swayed by the other energy. You're on the right path for you. This is a detour you're doing because it's something that you're doing as an act of love. So wow, I mean, I feel like I want to applaud you. I mean, what a beautiful thing to do. So what we're now going to do is we're going to get 2 cards from your soul family and 2 cards from your bloodline ancestral, and we're just going to see, anything more about the synergy of their message. So from your bloodline ancestral line, Queen of Swords, 9 of Swords reversed, okay. And then from your soul family, the Queen of Cups reversed. Oh, that's interesting. There's something about a woman in this. And I think it's really hard to work out what of cups that is. I think it's the Ace of Cups, but it's weird the way it's written, but I think it's the Ace of Cups and there's a single cup there. Okay. Whatever this act of love is, I think is towards a woman or someone who has a very divine feminine nature. And one of the things that you're dealing with, they may in fact be the very person that you're having who doesn't even understand what you're doing. Or there may be someone within your current family, work situation, whatever it is, who is very key to this but doesn't understand what you're doing. And there is a healing for them as well. They have a lot of barriers up. They have a lot of boundaries up. They very much keep themselves separate by their mind. There's a very incisive mind here, and that's the way they stop themselves from worrying. This person would worry a lot. They're not very connected to their heart, your spiritual, your soul family is saying, but their heart is actually the key here. I feel like this is, you're here to resolve an issue with, your mother or a sister, or as I say, it could be sort of someone who is sort of either a bit gender fluid or has a very strong feminine aspect but is male presenting. I mean, like it could be anyone. I try not to make it too much about gender, but the fact that we've got 2 queens, this is about someone who has got so detached from their heart as a way of dealing with anxiety that there's something that you're doing there, and they're saying that's the thing. This is why it's an act of love. It's also why it's difficult, because the very person that you're probably trying to help is the one who will push away from that to protect their heart. But you are closer than you think to their heart and to resolving it. Now, the other thing I'm getting is for some, this could be not about within your current family line. It could be a lover. Like for most of you, I feel like this is like family, and if not that, workplace. But it could also be that you've come in, there is someone that you've fallen in love with, and they have all sorts of stuff themselves to deal with, and you're trying to heal that for them, and your ancestral bloodline is supporting you in that, saying this is a temporary thing to do, and your spiritual, your soul family is supporting as well too. But I think that if that's the case, the latter are going like, this person isn't necessarily of our soul family, but it doesn't mean you can't love. This is an act of love and an act of healing. So it could be any number of things, but there's definitely something here about a very defensive person who uses their mind to relieve their anxiety and who's pushing back, not understanding. This is why the appearance card has come up. Okay, so let's sort of see some other elements of this. We firstly want to get couple of questions around the shadow elements that you might be dealing with within yourself for this revelation and healing. Then we're going to look at corresponding energies of light to help you. So the first shadow question is, what unhealthy habits do I have and what are they masking? Okay, there might be a little bit, this could be partly why the appearance isn't there. It could be that you have your own sort of issues to deal with, and so it gets a bit clouded in what you're trying to help. Or it could be that there's actually some mirroring operating, and that whatever you're trying to deal with to help this person is similar to your own. And how does that manifest? Understanding that might help you understand how to help this other person and heal this other person. The second question is, how do I react to obstacles and what does it reveal about my determination? That's interesting that it fell over on this side. There is, as I say, your ancestral line is saying this is temporary, just keep moving with it. Your soul family is saying you're almost there. And they're both saying this is about reconnecting to the heart. And so it's probably also your heart, but I do think it's basically you're here to help someone else. So understanding that you're very, very close to resolving this issue, but seeing maybe where there are some similarities between you and the person or persons that you're dealing with could be helpful. So what is the light energy answer to the habits? Advice for you around that. Sovereign King, claim your sovereign self and seize the throne of your own life. So this is about being true to who you are. This might be one of the reasons actually through an act of love that you did this, and this was perhaps the exact kind of constellation of events that was necessary. You needed to be sovereign and alone, like not just in your normal soul family. You needed it to be in a soul family or an ancestral bloodline that was perhaps different, so that you came in as a very individual person. So understanding that and claiming your power will actually help the other person do the same thing. And then in terms of reacting to obstacles, what can help you break through that? Flourish. Conditions are perfect for growth and expansion in business and situations you're passionate about. So just trust that even if there's obstacles, you're so close. You're so close, as in particular your soul family are saying. But this will help you and help the others. Things will flourish after that, and I think then you go, okay, my work is done. Or if it is a love relationship, you'll actually be able to be in union in the love relationship because there's a reclamation energy operating. So let's have a look at some past life insights as well that might be relevant to this. Past life energies that you bring in that could also help you. The Archivist Codex, keeping records, preserving history, or as a collector of stories and wisdom across the ages. So I think that there's sort of something, I do think there's something about the soul family you come from. I think there may be something that they and you do things like this. You actually do cross lines to take a record and to support and to heal energy. So this may also say that like keeping a record of this, a journal, something like that might also be helpful to see the patterns, to see the progress, particularly if you're sort of feeling like, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to get there? And like having that kind of archive and what you've done also in your life and in other lives could show you that you are able to achieve what you need. Then we also have the Guardian Shield, lifetimes dedicated to protection, standing as a shield for others or as a symbol of safety. I think this is your soul family. I think this is you. I think it does get misunderstood, and in this current situation it is, but you really are a protector. It makes me feel that maybe there are soul families that are that, as I say, that they almost go out as emissaries of the light or whatever, and they go into situations and they do it as an act of love. Though I do think that the kind of maybe the choice or where you go depends on connections that are literally personal love connections for you. But either way, I feel like you're meant to record the protection and the sort of healthy connections and the creation of love just as it is across different families, like a kind of a almost shamanic, like a walking healer. That might be your soul family, and you always disconnect from them, to some degree. That's what you all do, and then you come back together afterwards. So that's a really interesting energy. So let's see some emotional energies you may feel around this. We'll look at the emotional energy around the ancestral support, emotional energy around somewhat detached but nevertheless their soul family, and then the integration. So don't judge any of these. It's just to understand some of the emotions that you may go through as the sort of revelation of this takes hold, and you are, as I say, very close to achieving your goal. So from the bloodline side, the emotions associated with that. Okay, I think there's an understanding. Like once there is an understanding, like, okay, there's a sort of welcoming energy there. But it's kind of inquisitive. It's very calm. It's inquisitive, and it is loving, and it's not demanding. Like I think this is the energy to be able to kind of have that beautiful, open, but not demanding energy. You're just in the moment. I think that becomes something really beautiful for achieving what you're trying to achieve. You know, in this family, in this group, with this person. The energy and the emotion around the disconnection, but nevertheless, you're still getting energy from, but the kind of like temporary disconnection from your soul family. Okay, that's a revelation for you. That's like an aha moment. I think in this reading, it's like, oh, now it makes sense. And then there's an excitement. There's like, oh, okay, that's what we do. And it is what you do. So you're teaching me something about soul families. I find it really, really interesting. Like there is that kind of energy. And it's like, wow, okay, now things make sense. So enjoy that. Enjoy the understanding that that's who you are. And then the synthesis of the two for you. Now you've got to figure out what to do with it. Oh, that's as I say, don't go into judgment. It's like, okay, you do have this sort of sense of open love. It is an act of love. You are excited to know that's what you do, but then it's like, okay, what do I do? I think call upon both. Call upon the fact, and this may also be the dissonance, like you are ultimately very calm and open in your love, and this is what this is about. You are kind of excited about what you can do, but other people may see this because you are kind of pushing against the grain to achieve these energies. It might sometimes seem like you're kind of frustrated or you don't understand or you're different. It's okay to be in touch with those emotions, particularly if you understand the true energy behind it. And I think over time, it's almost like these two merge and people see you truly, but they're not seeing you truly at the moment. And so the synthesis of all of this is going to make you appear different to what you're doing. But know that you're closely and know that this will be understood better, or at the very least, you'll be able to say, I achieved what I wanted to achieve. Okay, let's just get you some stars to guide you. Cancer, yeah, a lot of this is about family. Well, the whole readings in a way are about that, but your sense of family, your sense of protection, the guardian energy, the keeping of the record and so forth. You come from a very caring, very protective energy. And that's also around you. Your sort of ancestral line, blood-wise and soul are actually protecting you as well. Pisces, very emotional, very of the heart. Very liminal. Your soul family is very, very psychic and very, very, and you as being part of it, very much of the liminal space, but you do literally have to disconnect when you come into the material to do the work that your soul family does. And Leo. Wow, it's three signs. These signs may be important in some way for you, for the people, if you know the charts. But otherwise, this is you coming into your understanding of your sovereignty. This is going back to the sovereign king. This is like, I know who I am now. That's beautiful. So what we're going to finish up with is a card from the Medicine Hardt Oracle, which is a shamanic sort of healing oracle, just to see the true deep healing that can come for you from these messages of support and the revelations that they've brought you. And we have Tol. So Tol is a bird that sort of meandered rather than getting its name. And so there's a kind of a message here about time is of the essence, but it's also about naming something for what it is. So if we have that you are misunderstood, and I think this is the thing, in whatever the situation is, you're misunderstood. By going through this process of healing and revelation, then even if it's just to yourself, you name your own act, you know the act of love that's associated with it, and you do it in the time that is necessary. I mean, there is definitely a sense that you're near the end, so it's like kind of like this is about done, you know. So timing is important. Don't give up now. You're almost where you need to be. Whether for all of you that will manifest as, you know, a new way of relating with your family or the workplace or the person, or whether it's just that you will see that you have achieved what you needed to achieve and then you can move on to do the next thing. Naming who you are and what you're doing and naming the authenticity of this rather than the appearance of it is really important for your spiritual growth, for your spiritual healing, and I think ultimately for what you do. But at the end of the day, if you achieve what you need to achieve and it's never understood in this corporeal life, it will be in heaven, basically. It will be in the liminal. It will be in the time in between. This is, as it said right at the beginning, an act of love. That's what this is. This is what you're doing. And at some point, whether it's in this life or beyond, that will be seen and revered for what it is. Just trust in that. Take the last few steps I think you need to do that, and then determine from that what you want to do next. But understand who you are and what your soul family lineage is. It's very, very beautiful. I hope that that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Compass as the synthesized message from your bloodline ancestors and also your soul family and ancestors. Your bloodline ancestors have brought Weir, as in a Weir board or a Weir disc here. And then your soul family are talking about active love here and now. There's an urgency about this message, to be honest, and it's coming to you to give you a direction. Both sides are trying to give you a direction in something. So for your bloodline ancestors, we are, as in, by the way, and just in case anybody doesn't know, that is how you pronounce it, we are, because it is yes, yes in French and German, we and ja. I often hear people go Ouija board, and that's actually not how it's pronounced. Just as a tip on the side. But for the Ouija board here, this is like, you could literally be a medium. It could be saying people who have come here are a medium. You can literally connect and get messages from your ancestral line. Because the Ouija board is like connecting to the souls of the departed. But there's a message. This is about messages. And your soul family are talking about love. There are a number of sort of cards here that talk about love. And this is talking about love that is right now. So it's a soul family energy, but it's an act of love coming from your soul family to help with being a compass. They're both trying to be a compass. I feel too that this says there's a very strong synergy between the bloodline that you are in at the moment and your soul family. I don't think that's always the case, but I think there is a synergy here. So they're working in harmony, and both are feeling that there is some very specific message you need to know your next step. The synthesis of this is for you to be able to navigate something. So let's see a little bit more about what the message is. So is this for you, a revelation for you, for your healing, for your spiritual growth, for love, whatever it might be? What do your ancestral line, what is the nature of the message that they're trying to bring you to help you navigate your next step? Justice, the Empress, the Queen of Cups reversed, the Knight of Wands reversed, the Three of Cups. Okay. I feel that this is primarily about something in terms of either family or love relationships. It is possible for some of you, it could be about something in work or some sort of legal matter with justice coming up. But when I look at this, we have justice, we have Empress with divine feminine, mother energy, any of those sort of things. Queen of Cups reverse suggests a female energy that is not feeling emotionally able to connect or speak. This could be you. It could also be someone around you. It could be a disconnection between you and your mother or the mother's line of your family. It might be the mother's line of your family that's particularly talking to you as well to help with this. But it's saying that whatever the issue that needs to be brought into balance, I think between the head and heart that's going on here, you've slowed it. And why the message is coming through is you can't slow it much more. There is an opportunity to really succeed in this, to be able to celebrate something, but it's almost as though at the moment of success, and for some of you it may be about a job or something like that. This could be at the moment of being offered something and being able to celebrate that. It's like you're slowing some of your efforts. So if any of you are looking for a job or something like that, or looking for the next promotion, you're meant to move into abundance. This is what they're trying to say to you. It's the compass you need is to not slow down. You're very close to what you want. You're very close to being able to connect. For some of you too, friends will help. Friendship energy will help. Kind of more your emotional friends rather than your collaborators. If you are looking for love, then there is an opportunity now to do that, but you may be hiding your own divine feminine energy. It doesn't matter what gender you are. As I say, something is slowing down. This is what they're trying to talk to you about. The balance that you need and the celebration is at hand, but it's like you've gone off the path that was the path that would take you. You may be not wanting to take the next step, because the Knight of Wands upright can be things like moving house, moving where you live, moving action and so forth. So there's some sort of emotional block that is stopping you moving forward. And I think that, as I say, the maternal line particularly wants to talk about this, but they're saying, look, the celebration is so close. Don't give up now. You know, the time is ripe. Don't sort of say, okay, now I'll just sit and wait. This action is being called for. And your soul family lineage agrees, because they're saying act of love here and now. So I do think this might have to do with love, though, as I say, it could be a career that you love or a passion that you love or a creative project that you love. But they're going here and now. So what are they wanting to say about this to you? Using the Remembering the Sweet Fool Tarot to connect more into that liminal space. The Eight of Pentacles, which is the Eight of Hills. The Ace of Sticks, which is the Ace of Wands. Yeah, they think something's ready to move now. The King of Hills, King of Pentacles. The King of Swords reversed. Okay, there may be some injustice, in fact, that you're trying to deal with. And the Death card reversed. Okay. For some of you, I'll go to that first. With the King of Points reversed, with the King of Swords reversed effectively, there may be something here, your soul family is saying, where something has been unjust or not clear or not honest. This may be why your ancestral line is saying that honesty is going to prevail here. Honesty is going to win. If there has been a lack of emotional honesty around this, the truth is going to come out. The harvest is going to come in. So if any of you are dealing with something which was unfair in love, in work, in whatever, then the time is right for that to come up. There is meant to be a more solid lineage legacy coming out of this, something real and long-term is coming out of it. You have the skills. You've been doing the work that's necessary. You also have the inspiration for this, whether it's love, career, creativity, whatever. But there's definitely been something, they say, that might have made you halt, that has to do with dealing with someone or some situation that hasn't been honest, and it's made you doubt yourself. This is why they're bringing you the compass. They're trying to say you're on the right track. You're very close to the success that you need, but you're not allowing yourself to make the decision. And so I think they want you to kind of recommit to what you want to do. Trust that you have the skills and the ability. Trust that you're creating something that will last. It could even be, I mean, if there is a relationship energy and a love energy where it's blocked because there was something that was unfair or something that was dishonest, it may be saying move on from that, because there's going to be a new opportunity coming in that will very rapidly move to be what you want, but you have to make the decision to separate. So this depends on what is the block, but something is blocking you and making you doubt your direction. And they are both saying that the choice is really in your hands, and the only thing you really have to be concerned about is making a choice and moving forward. If there's been something unfair or if you think something has been, lies or something, you're probably right. So make a decision on that and then move forward with what you want, because you're going to create something of lasting importance. And that's why it's important not to lose this opportunity. So we're just going to get 2 cards from each deck for just what they would say as a synthesis message. Really a little bit more about the compass, having sort of looked at the messages themselves. What would your ancestral line say? 5 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, okay. And what would your soul family line say to you? 3 of Swords, Moon reversed. Okay. The more I look at this, the more I think it's saying that there is something that has kind of taken you by surprise in whatever this is, and it slowed your sense of sureness. The messages are coming through to say that what you're doing is right, but there is something, you have hit something that was not just, something that was not what it appeared. On a material level, it's just slowing your emotional connection. On a soul level, you really do already know, and your soul family already know that something is not right, but you are able to detach. Your soul family is saying you need to detach from this, 3 of Swords. You need to let the truth come to the surface. Do that and move on. You will get what you want, but it has to be done now. Your ancestral line is saying, yes, you have been almost deliberately stuck. Like if this is around a career thing and you think that, there's sort of some sort of favoritism going on, you're exactly right and you should move on. If you've been in a love situation, you feel like there's somebody else around, you've been sort of cut off or treated as lesser, you're exactly right. Move on, because you are right at the moment that if you recommit to what you are looking for in love, career, or whatever, but not necessarily the situation you're in now, but what you were originally looking for, that's all the compass that you need. Okay, so this does show that something not particularly good has happened, or is happening, but you are able to move past it. So let's have a look at a couple of shadow questions, and then we're going to see the light support for it, but the shadow questions that could help you in determining the next step and taking the advice for the compass that your ancestral lines are giving you. So the first question is, what roles or expectations have I adopted from society or family? Yeah, so there's something that's not true to you, something that's not true to a situation. How much is this about some sort of cultural thing? This might be why your ancestral line is saying on a very material level you've been stuck and isolated. So what is true to you and what isn't? Because once you go back to what is true to you, that's the compass that you need. And what parts of my childhood do I need to heal and release? So I think these two could be connected. What may be happening, whether it's about career, whether it's about a choice in love or whatever, you've gone along a line to fit in with the sort of culture and expectations of your family, your childhood, all that kind of thing. And ultimately what you want is right, but you've hit a bit of a snag because you've hit something that is not what it appeared. And that could be because it seemed to be a role and it seemed to attach to something about childhood expectations, but you're now being brought the messages to see what is true to you moving forward. So understanding those things, understanding how much you might have been guided by the expectations of others will help free you to connect to your own inner knowing. So what light energy can help you around the roles or expectations that you've maybe inculcated? Home, an exciting change in home or lifestyle being positive improvements and new energy. Now that's interesting because I said the Knight of Wands reversed, Knight of Wands upright can be a change of home. This could be saying you need to move away from some sort of like home base that you're in, the city that you're in, the suburb that you're in. There could be something like that. Or it could be saying, I'm going to almost redecorate my home in some way, literally or metaphorically, to make it my home rather than the home of my childhood, the home of the expectations. Okay, and then what parts of the childhood do you need to heal and release? What light energy comes to you for that? Digital warrior, the voice of freedom comes in many forms. Your connection to the divine is your power cord of light. I think it's how you communicate. What you're prepared to say and what you're not prepared to say, how you would say it, how you make connections too. I think that, as I say, I think that your ancestral line and your soul family are quite well joined, but I think maybe some of the people in your immediate family or immediate environment, lovers or friends or workplaces or whatever, are not your home, are not your people, are not part of this. That like, it's kind of like, to me, the digital energy is like what happens when we connect via the internet, where, I'm doing this reading in Australia, yet most of the people I think that come to my channel, not all, but most come from, say, the Northern Hemisphere. So there's a sort of like, where is your home? I think part of this is also, where is your home? And like, that's the only real compass that you need to do to get back on track and to move away from anything that's not the right energy for you. Okay. So let's just see if there's any past life energy that you brought in as well that's important to this. Firstly, that's interesting. This came up for another one, the Archivist Codex, keeping records, preserving history, or as a collector of stories and wisdom across the ages. I think it's really interesting with the sense of the internet. So some of you may have come to more than one reading, and there is a kind of a synergy here, actually, so that makes sense. But I think there's sort of something here about you really do observe. I think archivists, journalists, people like that observe what's going on and they understand the importance of history. And there is a lot of the importance of history here, but there is also understanding what's true to you. And we have the Explorer's Compass, a life of seeking horizons, pioneering discoveries, or as a trailblazer of new paths and ideas. Yeah, I think this is saying that there is some movement away from something to then go towards and navigate towards what you want. And you don't forget or lose anything, but you are someone who's meant to move, explore, create for yourself. Okay, so let's have a look at the emotions that you may go through. Now, emotions are neutral. There's no good or bad emotion here. It's just dealing with the messages that you're getting and then the synthesis of it. what are the kind of emotions you may experience? So dealing with the messages from your ancestral line, which seem to be that there's an emotionally, you're stuck on something emotionally, but if you clear that, you're so close to finding what you want. What is your response emotionally, at least initially, to that message? I think you're a little bit unsure, but on the other hand, you're open to it. And I think there's a kind of a dawning realization again that love could be coming, the light's coming in. But it's like that feeling, that expression to me is kind of like it is open, but it's a little bit not wary, but it's waiting. It's receptive. So you're receptive. What about from your soul family, who are being a little bit more clear and saying, yeah, there is something wrong here, but you're meant to create something else, and this is why you've got to kind of get on with it. They're a little bit more impatient, I think. So what's the energy? Okay, you're not so sure. You're thinking like it's not that easy. Not necessarily going to be able to rush off and just fix this immediately. And I think it's also that with this message you're going, okay, now what I was kind of thinking that something isn't quite right that's correct. I'm allowed to kind of go into that emotion and sort through what that means. So then what is the emotion of finding the compass? Oh, that's lovely. You can see the future. You can see the direction. This is like openness to the fact that, yes, love, fairness, whatever it is still possible. It's almost like waking up. And it's almost actually gives me the Sleeping Beauty sort of feeling too, like waking up from being asleep or being held back in some way. And knowing, actually I was right. I was right. Some things weren't right. And you kind of go through the emotions of that. But then you go, okay, now I know what direction I'm going in. And there's something deeply spiritual about it. It's very, very beautiful. Okay, so let's get you some stars to guide this particular future and this revelation that your ancestors have brought you. Third house, communication is very key. And it's messages. It's messages. The planet Mercury. These messages are important. Mercury is fast too. This is kind of like, there is a kind of impatience energy to this. But do allow yourself to go through the emotions. Don't feel like you've got to kind of like jump over one thing. Something has blocked you or something has been wrong and your instincts were 100% on, and it's fair for you to have a bit of time of kind of working out what that means to you. Taurus. This is about creating the good life and creating, a kind of legacy and being stubborn when you need to be stubborn. Like, don't let other people talk you round. And Capricorn. Some of you, this is about things in the world. Like, as I said, some of you, it may be around work or something like that. You're meant to sort of like have more achievement and so forth in the good life. If that's the case, communication is going to help you. Otherwise, there is something about the 10th house. There's something almost that's meant to be visible, bringing things up to be seen. And you being able to deal with this and getting back on track is part of who you are in the world. It's kind of a bit of a example to others. So to finish off, I just want to draw a card from the Medicine at Hardt Oracle, which is a sort of shamanic healing oracle, just for the kind of overall message of healing and revelation that your ancestral guidance can bring you now. And we have Grib Sprayang. This is telling me that your ancestral line on both sides are going to really help with dealing with whatever was wrong here, whatever was traumatic, whatever was unfair, unjust, or whatever it was, because Grib energy is the lower energy. It is saying that there is lower energy here. And for some of you, this could be quite profound. It could pick up ancestral trauma, all that kind of thing, that you have basically maybe brought to the surface and you clear and move on. But for others, there's just something about whatever this situation is that was in the lower vibrational energy. And it does talk about how people can deal with that on different levels. So it may well be that you've actually, what the messages are saying is you've become almost so accustomed to that it's slowed you down. This is why they want to kind of bring it to your awareness, clear that energy and get you moving again, because you've got some really important things to do, going back to the King of Pentacles there, the kind of legacy for the ancestral line. Sprayang is a spirit wolf that devours the negative energy. So this is, I think your ancestors from both sides are saying, once you re-navigate, you realize, you own, and you process whatever's happened, and you re-navigate. And I think it does require leaving something or separating from something or looking at something very differently. Once you do that, you can move forward with confidence, because we're going to clean up the pollution at the end. Like do not worry about that. Leave that to us. Keep moving forward. What you're meant to be doing is too important. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Limelight as a sort of synthesized message from both your ancestral bloodline and your soul family, sort of ancestral line. And I've got to say, looking at these 3 cards, personally, I think there's a lot of synergy between your ancestral bloodline and your soul family. They may often interchange and be part of the same thing, or they just kind of really agree with each other. There's a very similar energetic profile here. And you will know if this is your reading, because this is the energetic profile of the artist, the creative, the performer, something like that. Now, it could go to performance on a different level, like being a political leader or a social leader or something like that. But by and large, you're very different. You're very arty, you're very creative, and that's the energy that's vibrating, and that's what they want to kind of bring you the energy on. And they think what you're doing is absolutely spot on. In fact, what they're saying is you're ready to be seen for what you do. So if you've been doing something creative or what, you're ready to have that next step up, you're ready to be seen. Your ancestral line is so proud of you. Like, there's a double message here. They certainly think what you're doing has reached the level that it needs to. There's a perfection. Your skills are where they need to be. Your craft is where it needs to be, all of that kind of thing. There is a double message in perfection, though. It's sort of like, don't be a perfectionist. If you become too much of a perfectionist, sometimes you don't take something forward because you never think it's perfect. So there's a little bit of a message here, or a nudge to it's where it needs to be now. You're meant to be seen. And your soul family are going, yeah, bohemian, you are different, you're creative, you're arty, this is what you're meant to do. I think this is a very strong message to people who, if they have doubted their creative skills and they've been sort of thinking, I've got to be in a 9-to-5 job or whatever. You may need, a part-time job or even a 9-to-5 job for a while, but you're on the brink of being seen and being in the limelight for something, and believe in it. That's the message here. Like, it's really powerful. Believe in what is different and creative about you. There are people in this world who are here to do, sort of political work, social work, construction and kind of like service delivery work that keeps everything going, people who look after the environment, people who look after our spiritual well-being. There are also the creatives and the artists. I love the creatives and the artists, so I'm going to love this group, because you know what? I love to be entertained, and you are the people who do it. One of the reasons that I really like to support creatives in part of what I do in this channel is because my life would be so dull, colourless and boring without you. So I'm really delighted to see that we've got people from that kind of lineage, that kind of ancestral line here, and that both the sides of your kind of ancestral connection are wanting you to come forward and do something with it. So I'm quite excited about this reading. I think it's going to be really good. Now, it may have some challenges that you need to be aware of, but boy, do they think you're ready. You're meant to be seen. So let's see what your bloodline, your ancestral bloodline is saying to you about this. And let's see how much of it they want to make sure you're not a perfectionist that gets in your own way, and how much of it they just want to celebrate what you're doing. So we have Judgment reversed, 4 of Swords reversed, Strength reversed, 3 of Swords reversed. Okay, yeah, they want you to come out and do something. You're ready. Okay. They do think you're too judgmental on yourself. Judgment can be ignoring the calling. One of the things they might be saying is that people who are coming to this, you kind of do have that creative, inspirational thing, or that you kind of feel like you should be sort of seen. You should be the focal point of something, but you're either shy to do it. You think that's just being egotistical, or you're not sure of your skills. So there is a degree to which they're saying you're not doing that yet. You're meant to sort of come out. Like the image I've got is of someone who's a fantastic singer, but they're just sitting in their bedroom singing along to things rather than showing it to the world. It doesn't have to be that, but it's an example of it. Come out of the closet, so to speak, and show who you are. Because you're too judgmental on yourself, other people will think you're great. What you're doing has reached the level that it needs to reach. This is time for you to show it. You just underestimate your strength to a great degree, and therefore you keep yourself separate from what would make you happy. You're trying to avoid pain by not testing your strength, but the connections you're going to make, could be in love, it could be in anything really, are going to be so powerful And actually I might, just in case the YouTube energies, around the slightly risque thing there have an issue, we'll just cover that up. But any kind of energy around that will bring in really great relationships for you and all of that sort of thing. So you'll make the right connections, you'll meet the right people. Just come out of your room, pile 3, so that we can all enjoy your talents. I say very selfishly because, as I say, I love creatives. So let's see what your wonderful Bohemian spirit family are saying to you. We have the 9 of Heels, which is the 9 of Pentacles reversed, the 8 of Cups, the 4 of Cups reversed, the Fool, yeah, it's time to do it, and the Daughter, which is the Page of Sticks, which is Wands reversed. So now we can cover that with that. So you're meant to find your people, and your people are Bohemian. Like, I think this is actually a really good thing. You're not on your own in this. You might seem very quirky and different where you are, but your soul family is this. This is who you are, like... It's funny with it being Bohemian because I keep thinking like Freddie Mercury and Bohemian Rhapsody. I feel like the spirit of Freddie Mercury could be around you going, darling, like you're one of us. Like it's really, I feel a lot about singing for some reason with this, but it doesn't have to be singing. It's just, you're like Oscar Wilde. You're like any of those sort of people. I love it. I love the energy. And your soul family is saying, yes, you're one of us. Let go of any of the emotional things that held you back because you've got an emotional block about doubting yourself. So they're saying, yeah, your ancestral line's right. You're too much of a perfectionist, and you'll keep holding yourself back. You're meant to let go of that kind of thing. It's time to step out. It's time to do it. This is who you're meant to be. This is the big adventure. You're suppressing your own creativity a bit too much. And in doing that, you're probably also suppressing the connections you need to make. So I think they really want you to know this is who you are. If you have doubted it on any level, I'm feeling their energy. Like they really want to excite you because you've got something really special. It should be seen. I feel a bit emotional. And as I say, I'm really selfish in this. I'd love to sort of see the sort of things that you guys do. And do tell me about it if you start to come out in the world with creative stuff. I'd love to hear about it. So yeah, just go for it. They're really, they're going, yeah, this is who you are. This is who you are. You're meant to be seen. It's not egotistical. It's what you bring. It's what you can give to people. Again, Freddie Mercury, one of my icons of my whole life, I cried buckets when he died. Like if he hadn't existed, like to me at the age I was at, because I was young when he came through because I'm old, and like that was such a revelation that someone could be like that. It was just extraordinary. Don't underestimate this. Don't think that the sort of bohemian artistic thing is somehow just self-indulgent or whatever. It's the lifeblood. It's the lifeblood of creativity and innovation and all those sort of things. And I'm going to stop having the tears at the moment, but I'm feeling their excitement, and I really, really want to see you do it. So they want the limelight for you. So let's see a little bit more, a couple of cards more from your bloodline, a couple of cards more. And even if some of you, if someone in your immediate family doesn't get it and they think, you need to be sort of more quiet and studious like this looks, your ancestral line saying, don't have any of that. Go forward. And your spirit family is saying exactly. So let's see what your ancestral line wants to say to you in your bloodline around this in terms of the limelight, and then we'll also see your soul family. Sorry that I'm sniffling, but that actually kind of really emotionally moved me. So, Wheel of Fortune reversed, Star reversed. Yeah, it's time. Like you're delaying it. The only issue is delaying the timing. The Wheel of Fortune reversed. To me, the Wheel of Fortune, it doesn't really matter whether it's upright or reversed in terms of the long-term impact, because things go up and down. That's what the Wheel of Fortune does. But it's saying that you're not taking your time, you're not grabbing the time when you won't come out into the world. So it's sort of like you just delay your fortune the more that you try and hide your star or hide your light under a bushel. Okay, so then when we're looking at what your wonderful, wild, bohemian soul family have to say about you being in the limelight. The Ace of Cups, yeah, this is where your heart is, and that's a blessing. And the Knight of Swords reversed. Yeah, don't slow down your heart. Your heart is actually the navigation point. Your heart is what you want to show. So, and it will reach people. Don't slow yourself down. Like, this is what it's saying. They're both saying it. They're both being a bit insistent. You're doubting yourself. You're kind of hiding it away. You're not sure. You're not sure if it's valuable. You're not sure if you're skilled enough. And they're going, yeah, you are. So, I mean, it may not mean the very first thing you do is going to sort of suddenly be propelling you to the heights, but you've got what it takes. That's what it's saying. So just get on with it, basically. And again, like, I think of someone like Freddie Mercury, the first things that Queen did, they were kind of successful, but, it took till something like Bohemian Rhapsody for it to really explode. So it's like, it's a bit of a journey, but they had the skills and backing themselves on their skills. And I think this is the other thing, back yourself on your skills. One of the things that all the great artists tend to do is when they're first dealing with their industry and whatever the industry is, and it's going, oh, but this isn't like this, or it can't be productized like this, they stick to their guns. They're the ones that do it. So I think there's something about that for you as well. Okay, so let's have a look at what kind of shadow side of you could hold you back or could be an issue here, and then we'll also look at what sort of light energy can help resolve those. So I'm just going to have 2 questions around shadow energy for you. The first question is, what do I criticize in others and how does it reflect my own insecurities? So, okay, this could be the perfectionist thing as well too. If you are not getting out in the world, but you're sitting there, and I'm just going to use the example of singing because I've just been doing that all the way through, but it doesn't have to be there. If you're sitting and watching kind of American Idol or whatever and thinking and critiquing people rather than getting out and doing it yourself, like, yeah, you probably are better than the people you're critiquing, but all it's doing is it's making you realize others could do that to you and it's shutting you down. So be aware of that. Because critique doesn't really matter. What matters is how people respond to stuff in a broader emotional level. Then what else do we have as a shadow thing? How do I react to obstacles and what does it reveal about my determination? That actually turned up in one of the others. So some of you may have come to more than one. This is, again, yeah, what are the obstacles? It's like, because you probably will have some, any kind of creative endeavor. It's not sort of as linear usually as a career in the more sort of established sort of office environments and things like that. But on the other hand, it can sort of really sharpen your determination. So what light energy can help you in dealing with the sort of like inner critic, because that's what's going on here with that perfection card. Light weaver, you're a vehicle of light creating new paths of joy. Weave your magic into the world. Just know that what you're doing is going to be joyful and of the heart. That's all you really need to do. You've got the technique. You're all over that. That's not a problem. It's just, bringing your heart to it and making it more about your heart and your emotion and less about analysis. And then in reacting to obstacles and how you can kind of learn from that and move forward. Well, that's interesting. This came up. So some of you will be going to more than one. Digital warrior. The voice of freedom comes in many forms. Your connection to the divine is the power cord of light. I think you will find your audience initially through sort of stuff online, that kind of thing. It's a way to reach a broader audience, to find your tribe, to find all of that. And that is something else. It's like, again, I'm just going to keep using Freddie Mercury as an example. Like when Queen came through, it was a much more narrow pathway to become successful because you had to be liked by the radio stations and so forth and that kind of thing. There was almost a hegemony. Now it's much broader, so it's also like it's a much broader canvas. Now it does have its own challenges because it's so broad. There's so much out there as competition, but on the other hand, it does help you bring your unique thing forward. And so it's a way. It gives many sort of different options to deal with obstacles and get past that and find your people. So it's really exciting. Let's have a look at some past life energy that will be helpful for you with this. The falconer's glove, a life of partnership with the wild, mastery of the skies, or as a symbol of nobility and precision. Precision, that's really good. Using precision with a higher order perspective, because that's why I think when you have winged creatures, it's like you get a higher order perspective, seeing the future, being on the tip of the zeitgeist, all of that sort of stuff. But you are able to connect the wild bohemian nature with the precision of your craft. That's really powerful for an artist. And then The sculptor's marble, existence marked by shaping beauty from the raw, creating lasting works or inspiring through art. Yeah, you are artists. You are pure artists, this group. If you don't resonate to that, then it's probably not the right reading and go to one of the others. But there will be one of the others because, as I say, there's some similarities operating in some of this, even though the overall theme is quite different for this one. Okay, so let's have a look at the expressions of the emotion that you'll have in the messages from each, and then assimilating those and synergizing those. Now, emotions are neutral, and if it's a difficult emotion, it just says it's something you're going to process. If it's joyful, that's wonderful, really take it in. It's just to give you a sense of the next steps from these messages. So from the messages from your ancestral bloodline, which is that you're ready, don't be a perfectionist, don't analyze it too much, just get on with it. You're a little bit hesitant about whether you entirely agree with them. You're neutral, but you're like, seriously, am I? Is it ready? Can I? And I think, like, yes, you can. But don't give yourself a hard time if at first this is sort of like, oh, I don't know, am I? Am I ready? That's okay. That's human. Then what about your Bohemian spirit family, who I really love? Their energy is amazing. How are you responding to their, kind of, hey, darling, go for it energy? Oh, that's nice. You're kind of getting it. When you really realise that's it, it's what's different about you that really matters, and that's where you belong. Like, look at that sense. Like, you're not sure about your ability, but you have it. But like when you really know that's your lineage, that's so lovely. And then the limelight energy. Now, this could be happy, or it could be a bit scared, because this is you really stepping out into it. So what's the first emotion around you showing yourself to the world and your skill to the world? Yeah, I had a feeling it might be that. Like, oh, can I? So this is the doubt. This is the doubt that you're in. Remember this. Remember where you come from, pile 3. Remember who you are. Then you'll move through that. This looked to me as sort of, it's not sure, but it could be convinced. You could be in both of these, you could be convinced. So do whatever small step could help you convince. Maybe sending something out online or something, and believing in that. But I'm feeling like there are famous people who are in your soul family. I'm feeling like kind of even feeling into that energy. As I say, I was sort of like thinking like Freddie Mercury, Oscar Wilde, but it doesn't have to be those. They're just people that sort of resonated to me. But I feel like there's passed on famous people, like maybe kind of feel into who you connect with in whatever the, because I was talking there about kind of like playwrights and singers, but it could be, Picasso, it could be Michelangelo with the sculptures, whatever it is, feel into that. I think that's really going to help you know who you truly are. Okay, let's get you some stars to guide your way. No pun intended, since you're meant to be a star in one form or another, pile 3. First quarter, picking up speed, make decisions, align actions with words. Yeah, you sort of like kind of don't just sit in your room and think about it. Get out there and do it. And look, some of you might already be out there, and it might be just the next step to take it to the next level. But I think a lot of you're a bit sort of shy of showing it to the world. If you're someone who aligns with this, but you feel, no, I'm out there. And I think of one person actually, I'm not going to name them, but who comments quite often, who's a very bohemian, very ahead of their time sort of person, very performative. If they see this, then I think it's sort of like take it to the next level, go for it. It's exactly the right sort of energy for this. So, but, I think that many of you, it's sort of, you're still, ooh, should I? Then we get Earth. Yeah, you're grounded with this. You're not off with the pixies. This is not a delusion. And Leo, yeah. You're meant to shine. Leo is meant to shine. Leo is the performer in many ways of the zodiac. You're meant to be sort of your own sovereign in that. Okay, so to finish off, I'm just going to get a card from the Medicine Heart Oracle for kind of shamanic healing that is meant to come for you from this set of messages. Oh, this is interesting. This came up for one of the others. So I think some of you will be going across messages, and that's interesting in how they might connect. But this also resonates in a different way here. Toe is a bird that missed out on its name because it kind of like lazed around rather than getting to the naming ceremony. So I don't think you're lazing around, but this is like, don't hesitate, go, claim your name. This is what it's about, claiming your name. By claiming your name, you claim who you are. By claiming your limelight, claiming being seen, claiming being named, claiming that star on Hollywood Boulevard, whatever it is, that's what you're meant to be doing. And it's like, don't delay. Like there's a kind of a sense of urgency about it. but also a promise that you can name who you are. You're not wrong. So I hope that resonates, because I'm really excited for this group. I hope that resonates. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.